it was kind of extreme the way that we did it. It can be done this way, but it's not for everyone. So we moved as a family of 10. We had 8 children. We didn't ship anything. We actually just moved with like 2 carry-ons per person on the plane. We started completely over with whatever we needed for the house and everything. We just found those things after we got here to Gambia. We moved into African neighborhood. The neighborhood that we live in is over 90% Gambian. And we shop local. We shop in the Western stores as well, but most of the time we shop local. We shop in our neighborhoods. We shop in the local markets. We basically like submerge ourselves into the Gambian and the African lifestyle, and I feel like that was an experience that I could never regret. We benefited in so many ways by doing things that way. The children benefited by getting to learn the cultural differences and the ways of the Gambian children. And us adults, we got to learn the norms, the cultural norms. And you have to be really self-aware and know what type of person you are to make that type of decision. So I would say that if you're a mean person and you already know you're a mean person, don't move into the African communities. Don't move into the African communities. We have what's normal in our culture and they have what's normal in their culture. And it can be very frustrating while you're getting used to the African ways and while you're going through the various different stages of culture shock, because there are so many different stages of culture shock. If you're someone that actually does well with change, and then maybe it could work for you. And then if you're someone who does horrible with change, and like I said, if you're just a mean person in general, then I would not recommend moving into the African cultures. Moving into the African neighborhood. I would say it's better for you to just move into a neighborhood with people that have similar background as you. And then you can transition your way into getting familiar with the different cultural things that are very different. The things about renting houses and apartments here in Gambia that are very different from renting houses and apartments in America. So one of the things is like the water. So, for example, you have to ask about hot water and a water heater. In any parts of the home that don't have a water heater, the water will not be hot. So, for example, if you only have one water heater in your house and that water heater is in one of the bathrooms, because the house may have multiple bathrooms and only one of them have a water heater. Well, the bathroom that has a water heater, that's the only one that will have hot water. You will not have hot water in the kitchen unless you have a water heater in the kitchen. So that's one of the things that are very different about the houses and the apartments here in Gambia that you may not know if you're not familiar with it or if no one has told you that. Another thing is appliances. So you may assume that when you rent a place that they have a refrigerator and an oven and an air conditioning system. That is not necessarily going to be the case. You have to ask. And a lot of times that is the responsibility of the tenant, and the landlords do not provide those things. Most of the times the homes don't have air conditioning. If you want to get it, that would be your responsibility. Any fees or services or any costs related to that would also be your responsibility. You would not look for the landlord to reimburse you for those. It just doesn't work that way over here. So you want to ask about a refrigerator. You want to ask about an oven. If the homes don't have it, you have to pay for it fully. It would be your responsibility. In the rainy season, there are a lot of places here in Gambia that actually get flooded. They get flooded where it would make it difficult for you to drive, to leave out from your home, and it would make it difficult for you to come back in. You could end up with water damage to your vehicle. You could end up completely ruining your vehicle. That's one of the things. So you have to find out about the area, whether it's a high flood area. I wouldn't depend on the person that's trying to rent to you to answer those questions. I would ask other people that can give you some feedback about that area, because the person that's trying to rent to you, they want to rent their property. So they may not necessarily tell you all of the cons about renting their property in certain areas. So you want to take that into consideration. the way how renting is also different here in the Gambia. Rent is normally you pay for your rent either 6 months at a time or you pay for it the whole year. There are people that do rent on a monthly basis, but normally that's not to foreigners. Normally foreigners are paying 6 months rent at a time or 1 year. In my opinion, you can find everything you would need, but I'm not a picky person. You know, I'm someone who I'm fine with slightly used or gently used. I shopped like that when I was in America. You know, I still shop like that here, but you can find new and used, slightly gently used, or whatever you want to call it, furniture. You know, you can find tables, chairs, everything to furnish your house. Yeah, you can find all those things, you know, after moving here to Gambia. You definitely don't have to ship. You don't have to ship to do it. Like, we ship nothing. But if you want to ship, you also have the option of shipping. You can ship your whole entire house and your vehicle. Like, you can ship basically everything you own, you know, from America. Like, I decided to dive in head first, start all over. I wanted to get the 100% authentic experience. Like, I wanted to let go of the attachment and be flexible and make the best of the things that they have available here and learn how to adapt, basically learn an adaptable, flexible lifestyle. Oh, they don't have central AC here in Gambia. So, but if you're planning on renting, just know that you have to get an air conditioning installed in whatever room it is that you want to have air conditioning. Yeah, they don't have central air, so you can't just get one unit and it cools off the whole house. But anyway, so I decided not to get that AC installed. You know, so he left that up to me whether I wanted to get the AC in the house and what rooms I wanted it in. I actually decided not to get it at all because I wanted all of us, me and the children, I wanted all of us to adapt to Gambia. I wanted us to adapt to the climate. I wanted us to be able to, yeah, just like, I didn't want all the children in one room, not wanting to go outside. And anyway, like, I can never regret the way that I did it. I'm so happy with the way that we decided to do it. Just jump in head first and just like start over a new lifestyle, getting used to, because like everyone's body adapted. Like, I know people that have moved here to Gambia and like years into being here, they still hated going outside because they never allowed their body to adapt to the climate by sitting in the room in the AC. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with sitting in the room in the AC, but you can't expect to ever adapt or get used to the climate and the environment if you're just sitting in one area. I didn't want that for my children. Like, I wanted them to adapt. I wanted to adapt. Your body will adapt to the point that in the cool seasons now here in Gambia, it really only gets breezy. But once your body adapts, it doesn't get freezing cold is what I'm trying to say. But once your body adapts to the climate in the cool seasons, you'll actually feel cold. Like, you'll want to put a jacket on or a sweater on, you know? But yeah, so it depends on how you want to do it. It depends on how uncomfortable you're willing to be. Like, I feel like the more uncomfortable you're willing to be in the beginning, the quicker you'll be comfortable later on, and the more comfortable you'll be later on when you're set into the different lifestyle.